because like how do I have to tape it to my face? What do you think? Hello. Today I'm going to be doing the video on the triple threat. There are 3 things that could happen at this point in time. Number 1, the nuclear bomb. And the question is that I'd like to ask people, if the bomb hits in New York City, how will that affect people in Calgary, Toronto, you know, like, how will that affect people that are, like, will we have fallout? How much fallout will we have compared to New York? Will the fires spread all the way up? Now, if the nuclear is actually not a nuclear and it's actually part of a star falling, well, then it would cause lots of fires and burning and maybe like some kind of matter and particles, but not the same particles of the nuclear. Today I want to discuss what we need to get our families and ourselves geared up for the triple threat. Now, there will be more probably than just these things heading into the tribulation. And the thing is, though, I do wonder if there will be salvation in the Rapturo. If I say things wrong, I'm sorry. I haven't looked into them perfectly, and second of all, if I make up my own words, it's because to avoid the censor. If there will be a Rapturo, maybe, you know, this can be avoided. Although we don't know what's going on, so it's just best to be prepared behind it, but still know that God is with us and that He is watching every move we make and every hair on our heads. So I'm gonna get some lipstick on. I'll be right back because I just feel like this needs lipstick. 1 second. Okay, so the nuclear will, if it's, for example, I live in Toronto, and everybody knows this by now. Should I put a microphone on too? Maybe I'll just put a microphone. Why not? Testing. Okay. In the event of a nuclear, this suit would be good to have. Get some of these for at least 2 family members so that they can leave the house, because you don't want to get the fallout particles on your skin because that can cause burns and infections and also cancers and things like that later on. So you want to make sure all of your skin is protected from head to toe, including your head, your hair, your hands, your shoes, everything. Yes, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb and people will know that you're one of the people prepared, so you can't like blend in, so that's like not a good thing. But in this situation, at least you're gonna be protecting yourself when you go out to get whatever you're needing to go out. Make sure, I would do this, stay inside underground as long as you possibly can before you have to go out, because they say 40 to 72 hours, but I would say it would be more like 4 days or 5 days or maybe even 2 weeks or maybe even a month. Like, but I'm saying, like, I mean, who has the kind of storage at this time to prep that long ahead of time? But still, it's a good idea to think of that. So this has a hood on it as well, you can see, and it's got, and this was about $13 at the Home Depot, so you can get a bunch of these. Also, thanks for coming with me. And disposable shoe covers. So this is a 3 pair. This is great, so you can have multiple people protecting your shoes, your boots, whatever, when you're going out. And then indirect ventilated goggles. So I'm going to open these out of the package because I'm going to need to eventually. It's the HDX brand, single piece lens, flexible frame, adjustable strap for secure fit, protects the eyes from paint, spray, liquid splash, airborne chips, and particles. And the thing is, It's also got UV protection, anti-fog lens, impact resistant, and this was, I want to say, $13 or $7. I can't remember. Probably says on the receipt. So let's see what they look like. Perfect. You want the ones, I'm really glad that I got this kind. You want the ones that have the suction-y things, so when you're putting it flush against your face like this, oh my god, when you're putting it like this, that there's no gapping. Now for me, there's gapping, and that freaks me out because it's like, oh no, because like how do I, like, do I have to tape it to my face? Air could get in here. See, I was also thinking of getting one of those like full head face masks online, the ones that have like the ones that look like an octopus, and because like then I could have like the full protection. It doesn't have a sizing, right? It's good here. Oh, I'm upset. Okay, well anyway, you want to get something like this. I feel like those, just the sunglasses ones, are not good enough because you need to protect against all of the wind and dust that could blow in through and affect your eyes. I mean, unless you want to double goggle it or double glass it. So yeah, this one I think I got the wrong one, but something like this. You want a painter's mask. It's got the filters that you can replace. It's also got an expiry date on the back, 2027 January, and it's got a particulate filter. P95 has at least 95% filtration efficiency against solid and liquid aerosols, including oils. This is also good for painting projects and sanding. The thing is, I might keep this, I might not. I'm gonna try it on. Should I take it out of the package and try it on with you? Yes, I should. I'm so nervous. I don't like opening things, so here we go. Should I open it? I'm gonna open it because we're gonna need to use it pretty soon. So like, I'm thinking it's gonna be in July, but also I'm thinking it could be in the next 2 days, 4 days. Yeah. So we don't know when it's gonna drop. Need to get prepared if they drop it on Washington, Virginia. This clearly goes on the back, so we're gonna get this on in a rush, like a quick situation. You have it in your bug out bag, and then like that. It's definitely needs to be tightened a bit. Oh no, it feels like I'm wearing a Halloween costume. Okay, I'm taking it off now. It's freaking me out. I don't want to live in the tribulation. It seems pretty heavy duty though, and the rubber definitely is there. I'm very squeamish about things, so yeah, that kind of freaked me out. But I was thinking about getting one of those like full head ones, as I said. Nuke is #1 threat out of 3. So if the nuke drops, you're in a car, you have to stop your car and get out of the car. You would have already had your bug out bag with you. You get out of your car, this is what I've heard, and you run to a Subway, a shopping mall, a school, and you hide at the lowest level underground. And you, in your bug out bag, you've got cans of food, you've got water, you've got first aid. What else? I'm missing stuff. Comment below what you think we should add to this. Flashlight. We've got knife for. We've got a torch thingy to light for a fire. So you grab your bug out bag and you go underground and you wait there for how long? 48 to 72 hours after the drops. You should have an active system where you're checking every day to see if. I would like to urge people to keep a close watch somehow. I think we're already at DEF CON. Let's look it up quick. Is Canada at DEF CON 2? DEF CON 3. DEF CON is a system in which they track the level of proximity to a nuclear detonation with the military. Although I feel like with DEFCON 3. We're not really at 3, we're really at 2. But they don't want it to panic everybody, and the last people to find out will be regular people walking the streets are going to be the last people to know. So, and that's by design. So, DEFCON 3. So, at the point of filming this video, we have NATO drawing a red line with Putin, I think. So, that's where we're at. I follow Canadian preppers videos, by the way. They're jam-packed with information and really help, although it is really stressful having notifications all the time, thinking about this, but it does help if you want to keep in the loop. It's March 27th, Sunday at 11:50 p.m. right now when I'm making this video, so the news regarding NATO is strong. With whatever's going on right now. I don't want to mention too much on my channel. This is why I explain that we need to have water in my painting video, why I have all those waters in water bottles and in jars, because and I put them in the basement because on the ground level, ventilation into the upper airways here is going to bring particles in of the radiation fallout. Radiation fallout? Oh, all I know is whatever the substance is, it goes away in 3 days. It's very highly reactive and harmful, but it dissipates really quickly in 3 days. So anything above ground will be affected more than underground. And you want to go as deep underground as possible. Now, not everybody has that ability. Also, if you're in a city, there could be more risk of fire in the surrounding areas. And also debris crumbling on top, and it might be hard to escape a basement fallout shelter. So also I will do more research into how to build a fallout shelter in a basement in an urban area, because the thing is though, because there might be a fire and it might be hard to get out of the basement, so it's like it's confusing where you want to go. Also, if you're nearby a school, you can take shelter. I don't know how that works. Like, can you break in the school, or do they let you in the school? I don't know what's going to happen at that point, but people will be taking shelter in the basement of a school where they're supposedly supposed to have these shelters underneath the school for these type of emergencies. And that's why in the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, 80s and the 90s, you had these drills where you'd go under your desk. I remember having those as well, but like, that's going to do anything. People need to get in the basement to protect themselves from the fallout. Now, if you have a bug out bag or a backpack you like to carry around the city, now I'm thinking of having a backpack I carry around the city with all my stuff already in it, just in case. So you just get underground and you have everything prepared. To wear clothing that's like exercise, like athletic wear all the time, so that if you need to run, if you need to take shelter, you're already ready. I was thinking like, oh, well, yeah, you'd have to like quickly get this out, put it on, do drills. How like, does it take you 60 seconds to put on this suit? How long does it take you to put the suit on? How long can you get it on your body? How long can you get your mask out and take shelter underground wherever you are? Park your car. Your car's gone. It's done. You need to get underground. And if you stay in your car, I will say, do not stay in your car, because that is basically, you're ending your own life by staying in your car. So get out of your car, get your family out of the car, and run. And you should be practicing running so you can run when the time comes. Get really agile and healthy in that sense. The other ones are way more complicated. I just want to say, if you're at home, if you wake up, I feel like I'm going to be waking up to this because I wake up very late. But if you're at home and you wake up to hearing the idea that this is happening, and you have probably 10 to 15 minutes to get underground to take shelter for the next 72 hours at minimum, then you want to go to the basement, grab all your stuff, grab your stuff that you need, go down there, get, you know, candles, flashlight, food, whatever else you're going to need for the next 3 days, because you cannot go upstairs. You will not be able to go above ground. Anything you leave behind upstairs, you don't know what's going to happen to it. Be prepared. The internet and electricity will be down for those 3 days as well. So if it's in cold times, you know, you won't be able to start a fire for 3 days because you can't get outside. You won't be able to get drinking water outside the house. Everything that's in the pipes, you know, if you can shut off the valves somehow, I don't really know how that works, but everything that remains in the pipes, that's liquid gold, because anything else is going to have been affected all on the surface layer of the place where the nuke has been deployed. That's why I have all those bottles of water, because water that's liquid gold, again, like these, you need about 4 liters a day. That's a good amount for survival, is 4 liters a day, but not everybody gets that. 3 to 4 liters. But yeah, prepare that per person, including children. And right, so okay, as for this, if you have children in the house, someone should stay with the children, and either 2 adults go out or 1 adult goes out when everything is clear and the levels of radiation have gone down. So the 1 adult or 2 adults will have 2 of all of these things. And also Wi-Fi is down, and I would assume that Wi-Fi radiation, cellular radiation, or sorry, yeah, that would probably, wouldn't it aggravate with the environment? Well, whatever, I don't really know. Right now I'm also worried about if New York City is, you know, then will Toronto even be affected? Slightly, probably, by some fallout, but would it be massive? Wherever you are in the world in relativity to where it's deployed would also be affected, right? I'm sorry, I don't know all this. I'm asking the question to you guys, but like I want to know, like, how do we have to prepare for fires? Like, if we're in an urban area in the US, I think it would be much more dangerous than being in an urban area in Canada. There's a lot to consider here. And so yeah, would it be considered a bug out bag if you're underground under the nuke? I don't think so. I don't think it would be considered a bug out bag. Bug out bags are for tactical gear to survive in the wilderness when civilization has imploded and destroyed itself and gone downhill basically after the EMP or after the fallout. Just make sure you're hydrated. There's also the idea of potassium iodide. And also, if you need medication, stocking up on medication, because there will be no more medication. Everything's good. The supply chains are going to be even more affected by this. I don't think there even will be supply chains after this. I'm not really sure how this is going to work. It's going to be every man for himself. People are stocking up on that. People are stacking up on iodine. There's also apple juice. Stock up on apple juice, because I heard that apple juice can get rid of toxicity in your bloodstream if it's affected. It can rinse out the kidneys, and it's cheap. I found that there are water bottles to be bought, like these big, you know, big jugs, plastic jugs, and you can get like a pack of 4 of them. If each person has 2 big packs, they can survive this, right? Think of it that way. Regarding food, tuna cans, I was thinking, is really good because then you have protein in them, and then you can have like green beans, corn, other healthy foods, whatever you can down there in the basement, so you're eating and make sure you bring the can opener downstairs if you have cans, for example, like stuff like that as well, just to remember. I'm gonna maybe do another video that's more in depth and more detailed. This is just like a rough plan. Look how rough this is. So what happens, you have 10 to 15 minutes to get downstairs into the basement with all of your things. When you come back above ground, there may be fires. It may be a totally different world outside. That's another whole thing to prepare against, and to have a sense of neutrality, to be able to not become as traumatized as you may be seeing what has happened to the world becoming into a place of a cinder. Turning to a cinder, is that what they say? If you're like me and you're very emotional and you have many important memory objects, probably would be best to clear them out, find the most important ones and get those important ones, say goodbye to them before, because you might not see them again, but put them downstairs with you. They go with you. You know, if you have ultra important items that you can fit in your bug-out bag, you could carry with you till the end of days, till the last day that you're alive, basically, and it gives you happiness and power to bring those things with you. Put them in your bug-out bag and bring them. Like if it's a teddy bear that you can't live without, or it's a diary that you want to look back on the pages and remember certain things, or a scrapbook, a tiny scrapbook that has pictures that makes you remember certain social media sites and people you met and amazing feelings that you had. Maybe you want to tuck that into your bug-out bag too, so you can always have it close to your heart in the toughest times. Your nuke bag, you want to have water for 72 hours already in that bag. And if you're going to a restaurant with family, practice bringing your bag, practice having everything in there, you know, your goggles, just to practice, you know, practice running with your bag, see if you can run with it. So yeah, you want to have like at least 3 days worth of water in your bag. I also have Life Straw. I'll show you. Wait, hold on. Gonna go get it. Because I didn't have enough stuff here already. You guys should see how messy my room is right now. Apple juice. This is the cheap version. And tip for everybody, don't drink and eat your preps. Don't do that. I have tuna cans and apple juice up here, and I started to eat it. How silly can I be? How literally silly. That's such a bad thing to do. Now I have to go and buy more. But it happens when you have the snacks right there when you're upstairs. Yeah, definitely tuna cans are great. Got fats, got, you know, the omega-3 fats, got protein, got iron. Now for iron deficient people during this time, this is a huge trick. I shouldn't be, well, my channel is very small and it's only catered to a specific few, so it's fine. Oatmeal. Oh my gosh. If you're bugging out and you're in the woods and you can find some water and you have your aluminum pot, which I need to still get, you can cook oats. It could fill you up for hours. It's so good, and it's got energy. It'll give you energy from the carbs, it'll give you iron, and in about half a cup of cooked oats gives you, which is about like a quarter cup of dry oats with I think a half a cup of water. That's the right ratio, I think. And that'll give you enough iron that you need all day for a female. I'm not sure if, I think it's a little bit more for, no, it's a little less for males actually, because females menstruate, so we lose iron, but males require less, a little bit less. Another thing is wheat crackers. So wheat crackers with tuna and maybe a side of green beans and a can is a good dinner or a good lunch. If you can have fresh like cucumbers and avocado somehow down there in the basement, I don't know how you're gonna have that, but like if you can have that, then you're really good. Trying to think of other things. You can get creative. If you're good at hunting and you need protein and you're not vegan, you can go fish and hunt and trap and things like that. I haven't gotten into that yet, but something to consider. I'm gonna just turn this off for a second because we're gonna get ready for threat number 2. Oops, I almost forgot, in my infinite wisdom and in my flurry of things that are up here. Life Straw. It was about $25 on Amazon. You can literally drink anywhere, and it kills 99.999% of bacteria, E. coli, everything. It removes 99.99% of protozoa. It filters 4,000 liters, and it meets the US EPA drinking water standards. It's award-winning technology. This is kind of gross, and I'm so scared to ever have to use something like this, but it will be survival in the end. This is good for hiking and camping, for kayaking and boating, for trail running, for hunting and fishing, and for emergency preparedness. It's by the brand Vestergaard. And it tells you what to do. It says start using LifeStraw by uncapping both ends and standing it up in water for 10 seconds, then take 5 quick sips from the mouthpiece. Regularly blow air through LifeStraw after drinking to keep the filter clean and prevent clogging. After using, allow to dry thoroughly by leaving both caps open. I'm sure there are instructional videos on YouTube that show you exactly how to take care of this LifeStraw. But if you get one for each family member, and say the family splits up somehow and you're out in the wild, well, to keep your kidneys healthy, which kidneys are the core of, it's linked to your heart chakra, but also your heart and your blood filtration. If you don't have healthy kidneys, you're toast. So just like lungs, just like heart, everything like that, you need to have water. Water is so important, and it is something that is liquid gold, and right now you should be hydrating yourself. I say go right now, drink a big 2-liter thing of water if you can right now. Go and drink it, sip on it while you're watching this video. Drink, drink, drink. Enjoy drinking your water, because we need to stay hydrated, because the body needs, we function off of water and air. So yeah, if you want to survive to the end, LifeStraw is great. Oh, this isn't sponsored by any of these companies, by the way. I'm sorry, I didn't even say that at the beginning. And I don't, like I said in another video, I want to sell tactical gear and stuff like that. Well, now I really don't know if I want to do that anymore. I don't know, it just seems kind of cruel at this time. It's like, it's too close and it's freaking me out, and you know, like, right, yeah. So anyway, like I was thinking also about in gold investments and stuff like that. I wonder what you guys think about that. Should we invest in gold? Should you invest in gold? Should we be taking out all our currency from the institutions right now? And should we be doing that? I don't know. I can't say yes or no, but I'm wondering if that's a good idea, because you know, when this all happens, you can't just run to the bank and get cash out, right? So just that's another thing to consider. Okay, I'm gonna go in to number 2. Is EMP, electromagnetic pulse, which is a form of cyber attack, and it basically shuts down the entire grid. I don't know if it's the grid of the world, the, you know, Wi-Fi, cellular towers, all energy will literally at once, and there are meters to measure electromagnetic pulse warfare before it happens. Also, thank you to Canadian Prepper for all of this, because like honestly, I've gotten all of my research, most of my research from that channel, and also from Southern Prepper 1 and Lead Farmer also. He's really good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any others. Those are the main 3. Yeah. Okay, so when an EMP happens, and it will be so instantaneous that if you're in a car, you know what's really weird also? I had videos pop up on my ads from Ontario saying, if a power line is down, this is what you do, like an instructional video, and I looked it up, and the one they advertise is so less detailed than what you actually need to do, and how you actually need to hop out of the car with 2 feet and shuffle and everything. Like, they didn't include that in the ad, and I'm like, why aren't they including like a detailed version? But anyway, why are they playing ads like that about power lines being down? This was about a month ago, and I was like, I don't know what to do if a power line fell on my car. Well, now I have to learn. Now I should probably learn that and take that skill with me. But It really relates to this EMP, doesn't it? If an EMP does happen, instant chaos will ensue. And yeah, you will have about, I would say, 10 to 20 minutes at that point to get to your bug out location and start going. And this is a different method and a more tricky whole scenario than the nuclear. So what I would do is always have a bike in your car. That would be my, like, that's gonna solve everything. I've had dreams last year of carrying family members on my back while I'm biking for hours, like all night long, and I'm like biking. Actually, it was like last year in August, and I was like biking and my legs felt like they were falling off because we were going so far and we were hitting one gas station to another, and I was like, what is this dream? And it really generally relates to the EMP, because not only will there be darkness, the power will be out. I'm not sure, does it affect the sun? This is the ultimate decline of humanity. Complete unrest, so poverty, unrest. So if you're in a car, all the cars around you will be stopped because the cars won't be able to go. Everyone's car is going to be stopped, and there's going to be either that or major traffic. There will be massive traffic blockages, and people will be getting out of their car and walking home. Once you get home, you have to leave your house, and this is the part I don't understand. There's something called bugging out and there's something called bugging in, where you bug in your house. People say you can't bug in a city, you can only bug in if you're in the countryside. I don't understand why you have to do this part, because this just sounds like you're just draining your energy, but let me know, maybe I'm missing something. Bugging out, you have to walk all the way home, grab your equipment, get on your bike or walk and start walking before the rest of the city catches up to you, and you're out in the wilderness, you know, living out in the wilderness tactically, and you have people that are out to get you. This point is like Lord of the Flies, in a sense, where it's like it's a dog-eat-dog world at this point. So you have to worry about looking over your shoulder. You can't talk to anybody on the road. If you meet people, like, it's like, to me, what I've gleaned from this is if you make friends with people and you're walking together, they basically are your enemies, even when you think that they're your friends, because they will try to harm you, steal your resources. They may say, oh, let's all go together and like we'll survive together, when really they're aiming at stealing from you and pillaging from you, and ultimately it could come down to, you know, really gruesome things. So you want to not make friends with people on the way, and this is why they say as fast as you can go home, grab your stuff and get on the road, because it will be based on whatever time this is, it's going to get nighttime, and it's going to be time to put up camp, to sleep, and then you want to get back on the road again for day 2, and you want to keep going as far as you can out of the city, so that out of the city or out of civilization, so that the people from the city, which there's going to be massive loads of them going, won't catch up to you, and then, you know, there will be civil unrest, because there will be civil unrest, because there will be competition to survive, and there will be, you may not think, well, I'm a peaceful person, well, but down the road, if you're in that situation and you have something they don't have, and you're not trading or in peace relations like that, but they may try to steal it from you, they may try to harm you to get to your supplies. When it's life or death, people will go the extreme to survive, and that's why you want to get away from people and be completely alone with you and whatever your loved one. They also say get a dog, get a very strong abled dog to go with you. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but it's good for protection. Then there's the idea of, write down what I just said, sorry. I can't even read my messy writing, I'm so sorry. I don't usually write like this, but because I'm just feeling really like low today. There are videos on how to make an under $200 bug out bag, okay? You can spend less than $200 making a complete bug out bag, although is it really gonna be good and how long does it last? There's also food that you can buy in these little packets that fit very well into a bug out bag. Probably like a month or two supply, where you need to just add a bit of water and it becomes a meal. So as long as you can start a fire, you can have you have a pot in your back, you have water somehow, and you can make these meals. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it can't be anything perishable really that you carry with you. A water bottle to fill up, or a life straw, or just to be able to carry water with you. I had a revelation about weaponry recently. So rifle, does pepper spray count, and would that even work? And then hand-to-hand combat. Rifles, yeah, I had a revelation about that. Once you have your license, once you have the power in your hands, it's an incentive to cause sin and cause harm. And I feel like there's something not right with me about the rifle thing. I feel like once people have that, they feel like they're on top of the world. They feel like, oh, I'm so powerful, I'm gonna like shoot all of you if you come near my camp. I'm gonna, you know, unnecessarily harm animals or whatever. And I feel like I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me in God. It's like God's telling me you don't need your rifle license. You could still get by without having that kind of weaponry, and just by relying on the Holy Spirit to guide you to the right spots and to get you out of situations. I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, I was interested in it. I definitely wasn't. There's a great advantage to being able to carry. But as I wrote on a comment yesterday, let's go back to so I said right here, wow, thank you for posting this. Not too long ago I wanted to get my rifle license for preparedness, but now I see that if you carry, you basically got some kind of power over others, and when does it end? It's all for power and control and proving some kind of upper hand over others. Guns never end with love, and the true point is if you have that kind of power in your hands, you'll be predisposed to want to use it somehow, and taking those matters into your own hands and playing God to acquire meat in a hunting scenario. What would God say about that? The truth is that even if you carry, it doesn't make you better than someone else. It makes you more spiritually dangerous. It doesn't bring independence. It brings massive responsibility for the lives of others around you. I don't know why I didn't see this before, and thanks to this song, I think I changed my mind about acquiring my license. Thanks for the spiritual downloads. We don't need to fight with weapons when we can fight with God. We don't need to worry about protein and food to eat when we have God to pray to. So this was the video, Azzy and Mob style, what's going on? So thanks for that spiritual download and communication, because I got it, and loud and clear. I'm just gonna erase it because we've already been through it. We also could do trapping. At this point, society has declined, so if you return to the city, it will be complete chaos. You know, all kinds of different criminal activities, and, you know, people looting houses and things like that. All of the belongings will be gone, as it says in the Bible. Take up, okay. Matthew 6:19-20 says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. And that's the same thing I feel with marriage, children, love, and our true celebration is in heaven, and our true celebration is on the Golden Mile. So it's not necessarily about what we do here. So the thing is yeah, all of these things, that's why it says that. And I've learned that with all my memorabilia belongings over time getting tainted. And had I not had memorabilia, and I hadn't had these treasures upon the earth, and I realized the treasures are here in me. I don't need to worry about what I do or what I have or how well I protect those things outside of me, and that soul tie spider web that weighs upon the soul and literally physically grounds us here and is like an anchor down to this place here, which those beautiful treasures and memories are all in here. and in here and in here. They're in us, and our bodies are the most important treasures and temples to keep, because that's where it's all held. It's not exterior, outside of the body. And it's the same thing with debt. I also wonder about debt. What do you guys think? Okay, in these end times, in these apocalyptic close times, what do you do about, you know, debt? Because do you get into debt to buy the tactical gear, or do you stay out of debt and you hope for a savior, or do you pay off as much debt as you can and then hope that it's all cleared by the time that the rapture takes place? Or, you know, because in the times when society will collapse and debt is like, you still have debt, that's going to be even more a big deal then, when you have all of this, you know, price gouging and things that are so much more expensive, and then you've also got monthly payments. So the last thing I realized with EMP is radio, and I don't know the specific brands yet that I want to purchase walkie-talkies, but the fact is, there won't be cellular communication, there won't be texting, there won't be Wi-Fi, so you can send someone on Facebook Messenger or message quick. You need to have a meeting spot with your family and loved ones who you intend on surviving with, because you can meet, grab your bug out stuff and go together. Or if you're separated during the EMP and you have to go bug out and they're still in the city, you know, and you don't have any communication, what then? Also, what if your family is the one that brings you down during the time and holds you back from escaping and literally harms you in that sense? Like, sometimes I feel like it's safer to survive a situation like this alone than it is to survive alongside others, because having to share resources and supplies, and quite frankly, the spirituality of the experience, if you're not on the same page spiritually with the other people, it can be spiritually taxing to traverse the last days amongst certain people. So radio, walkie-talkies to communicate. I don't know how they work, I don't know how much they are, but I think they'd be a good idea to have. So there's also some skills to be had. So fishing and fire starting are two good skills to have. If you can start a fire and you can keep yourself warm at cold summer nights or in the spring, you can start a fire to cook meat. For fishing, you can provide for yourself and your family. You can cook it over a fire. Also having a knife to be able to build with, or to be able to sharpen tools. Yeah, having knife skills as well, and with a hunting aspect as well, if that's something that you're interested in. Look at that big question mark, because I honestly, I don't fully understand it. I think there are a lot of missing pieces for me. If this was an exam, I totally did not study for it, and I am missing a bunch of little blurbs regarding the EMP, because I only know little pieces, and I feel like there's not much time left. The EMP is threat number 2 that we need to worry about. If not all of these things are deployed at the same time as this world WOR, things happening on their own, one after the other, are quite frightening and quite a threat to our survival. But having all 3 of them at the same time would be terrifying. So this brings me to number 3. This is the one people do not want to think about and don't want to hear about, and also it's going to be hard for me to describe this to the people living closest to me, but I'm gonna have to, because this is the bad one. Here we go. Okay. Oh, whoops, not okay. Doing all of this, I'm also trying to heal from certain things. I'm also trying to like heal certain emotional things and clean up my house, and then make money at the same time. It's just like, whoa. But like, there's so much and you gotta keep going, I guess. We gotta keep on going, and that's all we can do. And if we can keep on going, if we can do one thing, if you can drink those 2 liters today, or if you can fill up 2 different plastic bottle jugs for me today, you have done a great job just today. If you can go to the store every other day and pick up like a few things that are going to help you in the long run and just sleep well knowing you've got those things covered. If you can go pick up a mask tomorrow even, or some of these, or you can go on Amazon and order one of those masks, because those are really good. I want to get one of those. If you can do that, you're already preparing yourself. You can rest assured knowing that in case the Savior does come, you have stuff for potentially your neighbors that'll break into your house once you've been raptured, or your family can use if they're still here during the tribulation. You have done your part, and it's just going to feel so much better to know that you're prepared. I hope that doesn't sound too culty with the regarding, you know, this whole community that's very logic based and very much we don't really know what's going to happen, but all we do know is what's been circulated and the experts in the field that have come forward and told us certain things about what's to happen. But I also think that we have to listen to our hearts and our spirits, because that's what will lead us to the right place. Number 3. Okay, number 3 is bioweapon. The gates of the underworld. This guy said that there will be another one around the corner. And what I think is that everyone is sick and tired of talking about, remembering the horribleness of what happened 2 years ago. Although that's exactly their plan, is to make everyone exhausted about it. You know, finally everything's opened up. You don't have to wear certain things. You don't have to have certain things to go certain places. And everyone's gone back to the lives that they had before. In the meanwhile, the dragon hasn't gone back into his lair yet. He's still lurking and he's still ready to strike. That's how they get consent. And it is a, okay, it's not only predictive programming, but it's also a consent form that they have when the whole honk honk movement happened and all of the mandates dissipated. What happened with the honk honk was a way of consent, so that everyone's saying we don't want to wear them and we don't want to get involved, so leave us alone. We'll take our chances. So then they say, okay, you don't think it's real? Okay, you don't think our things work? Okay, you don't think that the quarantine time period, the isolation period is important or whatever? You guys don't want to follow the rules? Okay, so when the real thing happens, when we actually send out something designed for DPAP, I'm just gonna say DPAP because DPAP, like the Caroline Polachek song Billions. Billions. If I'm making anything clear, billions are meant to be DPAP'd, and everyone is not going to take it seriously. It's like the boy who cries wolf. That's when the real deal happens, and this one's going to be bad. This one, I have a feeling, this is all coming from in here. Like, I know with all my being, that's why I'm making this video, that the BioWep, this is it. Like, they're going to deploy this, and people are done with all of the acquiescing, and they're done with following the rules. Well, they've consented to not following the rules, so when the real thing comes and everybody doesn't consent to following the rules and everyone's like, no, 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 that's when the actual masks are going to work. The distancing is going to work. The isolation period is going to work for survival, to save you from something that is going to be utterly deadly. And especially within households. Even, it's the idea of the plague, like the bubonic plague, the idea of the ventilation. If someone is sick in your house, you can't leave your room because they're sick in another room, or because the ventilation of the airflow in the house could bring the particles into your room and make you sick and literally cause you to your death because of this this thing that's going to be released. I really do think that it may be all timely at the same time as all the other two threats I was just speaking of. and because that's what they want to do. And so no, not everyone's gonna watch my video. I'm not gonna go save the world from making my video. Not many people are gonna find this video, but for the ones that are here and that need to be here, this is important to take note of, because this is going to be the final one. And people have been talking about this since 2020. They've been talking about this bioweapon that will be released eventually, and that will be causing the final blow to mankind. Have everyone bound out to the beast system, and that's going to be like, it'll all apex at that point, and we'll begin the tribulation period. And I'm thinking about the song Feed the Machine by the band Red, which really, I found it on a whim. I found this girl's channel and she was doing lyric videos and her name was so random, and I'm like, who is this girl? And so I found her channel and I stumbled, I was just like, who's this band Red? Like, I'm just gonna watch it. Who is this? Like, what's so great about them? Like, you know, I was a rockapella girl before, so I was like obsessed with that band, and now like this girl's obsessed with that band. I'm like, okay, what's so good about your band? Let me go check. So I like looked at the band, and shockingly their videos depicted scenes from the beast time period, in which there will be this machine you have to bow down to. It was almost like pulled out of a dream that I had, like scenes that I had foreshadowed in my own dream memory, or my own subconscious knew that certain key players would be throwing people into the machine that knew people. So you have to just watch the video, but the video depicts the beast tribulate, like the beast time period in a small scale way, and it's very, very graphic and very affecting emotionally, but it prepares the ones who need to know for what's to come. So yeah, so just wanted to talk about that, the band Red. Feed the Machine, such a good song, because it's awakening. It awakens your soul. Even in the beginning of the song it says wake up, like he's saying wake up, like you need to wake up to the truth. It's not just an alarm that you can use for an alarm, like a song you can use for an alarm, but it's a song that wakes your soul up. It's like wake up, get ready. Like, you need to like get your family on board, tell them, teach them all you know, like time to wake up, time to take action, like that kind of thing, because we need to be lucid, we need to be sober minded right now in this time, because that's what's to come. So heavy stuff, yeah. And it's a Christian band, and I think that also it's a depiction of what's to come. So okay, I have to say about this, I know you don't want to ever hear me say this, because I was totally against this for so long, but here I am saying it. But wear your mask. Wear your mask. Isolate. I'd say 4 weeks. Don't come out of your room. And if you've got other people in the house that aren't doing well with it, what if you can't save them? What if you going to save them will literally put you at risk of losing your survival? I was thinking a few things that need to be done are having a mini fridge. They cost about 120 plus, I'd say, for like a small 3.3 cubic one to cook food in your room, in your space that you intend to isolate. I also wanted to look into foam or like pads or filters to put around the door or the doors, so it blocks out any particles that could come in. If there is knowledge of when this is being released, or the news is saying, hey, there's something up, you have to just like, wait, there's something circulating. Could it be this? Do not meet up with people, don't shake people's hands, don't touch doors. Try to limit your contact with the outside world for the time that this is happening, so you can protect yourself. Stay hydrated and stay healthy, and have full, like, try to make sure that you have optimal health at the time, and like keeping yourself. Think about all the things that you have to do in a day and how you can get around doing it. I was thinking of putting, oh, and at that point, the frontliners, will be Uber drivers, delivery service people, people working in retail, people that are working, you know, on the subway. Yeah, those people are risking their lives. So everything that they taught us to do to rehearse for it, that was all, you know, hogwash for so long, but really will be a consent form. And you need to know that you've already layered consent. If you're done with it, you've layered your consent to say, I don't care what happens to me, because they're playing on consent. Oh, you don't want to listen to us? We gave you the isolation techniques. We gave you the mask. We told you to stay 6 feet apart, and now we've released something, and it's actually going to cause damage, and you're withdrawing consent from it because you think it's nothing, because you have no idea what we're planning and what kind of psychopaths that run the world. Just know, like, yeah, I still stand behind certain things don't work, and I would never take that, but just know that when it comes down to it, be cautious. Continue to be cautious, because your caution will be your consent, will be your non-consent to this. Okay, so I'm done my presentation for this. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much my video for today, and I just wanted to also say that thank you. Thank you for the... Oh, I don't know if I could do a good job with this. That's really bad drawing, but thank you for that, because not many people have noticed my love for that and in the past, and it's cool that you know that that's really appreciated. So thank you. And I want to just tell you once again, because I keep forgetting this myself, it's very important to remember to keep dancing through the storms. To keep dancing through the storms. And we can't forget that, even with all the stress that's going on. And it's hard to re-gear the mind. It's like, whoa, what are we really here for? What is this all here for? We have to remember, this isn't about power, being better than one another, showing off, harming others to gain supplies or resources. This is about energy. It's always been. And actually being here on Earth the way we are, this is very left-brained of a video for me to make. It's all about logic, it's all about preparation, it's all about thinking about what could happen. But in the end, it's all about energy. And it's all about how we use our energy and how we take care and nourish our energy here. And it's all about what we choose and we consent to based on how we know what is healthy for us spiritually. It's all about intuition and energy and connection in the end. Don't lose sight of that, because if we start to look at this as it's like a prepper thing, like the only reason we're alive is to survive, we've lost sight of a big chunk of why we even exist here and what we're even here for. It's about feeling. As much as the Bible says, do not get carried away by sensuality, paraphrased. That's really interesting, because in the Bible, relating sensual means relating to or consisting in the gratification of the senses or the indulgence of appetite, fleshly. But that's really interesting, because I don't find the senses or sensuality to be fleshly at all. In fact, I find it to be spiritual. So maybe most people's senses are fleshly and worldly, but some of us have the extrasensory abilities only in the spiritual, which actually I feel like those that follow my channel will understand that a lot of the things I do on this channel aren't sensual and emotional in the sense of like trying to gratify something into fruition here in the third dimension, but it's mostly about the other dimensions and less about this one, and this one follows the others, and there's an otherworldly sense of sensuality I possess and I realize in myself, so, and in my videos and in my works and my creations. And so I feel like sensuality is very interesting in this. Is like, it's not about being sensual, it's not about being like losing yourself to feeling in the way that you may think that is, but it's about feeling sensual spiritually. And there's a total difference between the flesh and the spirit senses, and now I understand that. And here's another thing I want to say, okay? Okay, just stick with me for a minute. I've had dreams that are so accurate, I can't even tell you. Like, they have happened within days. And my intuition is so sharp, and it's getting sharper by the day, that I feel like for those of us that have an intuition like that, do not forsake it, do not shut it off, do not doubt it for a second. It is always right, and it's right when you need to listen to it, especially because I had a dream in 2014 before I even got into my relationship that something was a certain way regarding someone and someone not liking me. And all this time I had no idea, and it came true. And not that it came true, but I predicted it through the dream, and if I only had listened to it, I'm like, oh, this person doesn't like me, I shouldn't get into that relationship. I would have saved myself so much time. And I've also had dreams of certain people calling other people I know, and I say, oh, how's this person? Did they call? Yeah, they called yesterday. It's like, it never fails, it's always on time. I have a dream that the same person calls. I'm like, that person probably called or will call tomorrow, and then they call. And it's like, I don't count myself as psychic, although this is something I just don't know how I have this. But what I'm trying to say is, for those of us that have abilities, listen to them. Listen to the small little voice that's saying this or that or do that, because that little voice, treat it as a scream. It's screaming at you to listen, and you better drop everything else and listen to that voice, because that's the truth. That right there is truer than anything else in this reality, because that comes from beyond this reality. And it does say here in the Bible, now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity, strife, jealousy, fits of anger, rivalries, dissensions, divisions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and things like these. I warn you, as I warned you before, that those who do such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. Galatians 5:19-21. We're also told sexual immorality versus sexual righteousness. There's a big difference, and I've really realized that now. So I am a believer in that sense. And I've also, it's also a time to think about the kingdom, and about when we are at the gates, and or on the at the High Council, being held accountable for our actions here, and how we're going to speak to God, and how we're going to react to what He thinks of our existence here on earth. And one of the things I like to think about is our mindset when we go there, when we're on the high court, when we're talking to Him and we're saying, God, like, I know I missed I haven't done all the work or whatever. I haven't fully seen every mistake I've made. And if you have any things that you discontend with, is that a word, discontent? Can you please tell me, and like, can you please tell me, and I can rectify it right now, and I will tell you in truth and honor at all times to serve you, dear Lord. Like, Father, I will do anything to rectify what I have done, and whether it's explaining, whether it's cleaning something up, or whether it's going to a person and fixing something, I'll do anything to have a clean record and to stand before you and be honest and be true. That's really important because he knows our intentions, he knows our wrongdoings, he knows our mistakes, he knows our slip-ups and everything like that. There's no way to be perfect, but there is a way to have a mindset in which you want to rectify. You want to be as honest as possible, and as honest and true and close to the Spirit as possible. And if your life goal is to be as close to Source and Spirit as possible, you're doing a good job. Most people don't want to even go there. Like, you're already good because you're aiming towards your truest existence. You're not hiding anything. You're not hiding behind something else. You're ready to be like, okay, you know, this is what I thought was right. Oh, it's not right. Okay. Wow. Like, being that kind of humble. Ephesians 4:17-19 is interesting regarding the end times and the EMP and the bug out situation and walking with people, or even with family members and friends that you don't know will be spiritually equally yoked as you when you're facing the last days. Now this I say and testify in the Lord, that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. And I feel like sensuality in the Bible is a different word, just like lust is a different word than intimacy, like true, nurturing, nourishing intimacy versus lust. Sensuality is a different word than the emotional expressiveness that few of us can access beyond this dimension. There's a difference. I feel this in my spirit, and I feel like there are just different words being used, and there are certain words selected to translate from the original biblical translations. I wish I could find the Bible verses from my Forever video. 1 second. Okay, that sucks because I had these Bible verses. Okay, so it was Matthew 24:13. But the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. But the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. Because of the multiplication of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. But this is what was witnessed to all nations. But the one who perseveres to the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. By your patient endurance you will gain your souls. And that is also to speak to the idea of the anxiety that people face socially nowadays, to have to, like, you have to fill the space with something, you have to say something, like everyone's just saying something. Oh, I'm not doing anything with my life. That means I have to go do this, I have to go on vacation, I have to like buy this thing and show everybody. And like, I think that anxiety of like having to socially conform constantly is what rips us from our souls, what takes us away from what God really wanted us to be with. He wanted us to be present and have patient endurance to gain our spirit and to gain our souls. He wanted us to not take action. We don't have to take action on certain things, and we also need to take action on certain other things. And I think that from this endurance we gain our spirit, and the spirit that leads us to the kingdom. And it's about also what we don't do, what we don't participate in, what we don't consent to, is what gains our souls. Matthew 24:6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So that also says we had all this stuff I said before, but don't be troubled by it. Keep dancing through the storms. And when you dance, don't you dance angularly. Please don't try to be perfect, but try to feel when you dance. Try to really feel all of the muscles and all of your joints in harmony and in juiciness, because it's all about being juicy and feeling that flow and letting the energy flow through the spine and nourishing it, because that's what counts when you're dancing. Don't dance to look good or cool. It will look good to the right eyes when you feel the dance and when you feel the flow. I promise you. And the haters on looking will literally curse your dancing. I've had this happen where the wrong person will be watching while I dance and I mess up, or it feels bad inside. You can't feel anything and it blocks you. Who's experienced astral blocking in the dreamscape lately? Oh my gosh, like I've had so many random things blocking me and it's so unnerving in some situations. It's just like, why are you here in this dream? Excuse me, like leave. Like it's so gross. And then there's also the psychic spying that some people do. That's also unnerving. Have you experienced it? Let me know. It's crazy right now, but gotta keep going. We gotta keep sharpening our tools. Matthew 10:22 says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. Mark 13:13 says, and ye shall be, same one. But it's crazy though, because a lot of preppers don't want to acknowledge the presence of Jesus either. So it's kind of interesting that if you have both, right? Like I found another one and I can't find it now from my forever video. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended of me. He hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. Okay, so yeah, I just have one more thing to say. Depending on who you are living with, what family members, roommates, whatever, there are people in your circle that may cause harm to you based on this the bioweapon part of this presentation. And they will, you've warned them, hey, don't hang out with those people. That group of people is dirty and they have gotten sick a lot and they're gonna pass illnesses on. Don't let your children hang out with those people's children because they're dirty. They have bad energy and they're gonna bring wrath upon us and our family and destroy us. And then they go, because they deeply hate you for offending their friend group, they're going to still go and hang out with those people. They're going to bring germs back during the bioweapon phase, and they're going to hurt themselves and you. And for all people like you that are experiencing this, I grieve with you and I grieve for you, because it's a difficult situation in which you have to just protect yourself. You've done all you can to warn, you've done all you can to try and prepare others to not do something like that, but what can you do? If that person ends up going against your word and hanging out with certain people that are not good for spiritual and for physical, and they take it to heart and offense from that, and they don't see the same thing that you see with the filth that you see with their energy, they end up harming you and they end up harming the family. And it's kind of like how Jesus said that one of you will betray me. It's usually because these people are not strong enough to sit with themselves and to be still in the moment, and they anxiously have to go socialize and they have to go out and they have to do this, and this compulsion drives them because they can't sit with themselves and with their own core wounds that they need to look at and heal in these times. Instead they're like, no, I'm gonna go out drinking, or no, I'm gonna go out doing this, or no, I'm gonna hang out with this person. And that ends up being the very consent opening that destroys everything, and that brings in illness, or it brings in some kind of harm upon those that do not intend. Oh, and it reminds me of the quote really quickly. 1 Corinthians 15:33, do not be deceived, bad company ruins good morals. Number 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness, or what fellowship has light with darkness? Psalm 141:4-5 says, do not let my heart incline to any evil, to busy myself with wicked deeds in company with men who work iniquity, and let me not eat of their delicacies. Let a righteous man strike me, it is a kindness. Let him rebuke me, it is oil for my head. Let my head not refuse it, yet my prayer is continually against their evil deeds. So it says to keep on praying, and that's what we need to keep doing, is pray and let God take the reins, because that's always what he does, and I've experienced that firsthand. You know, even with this past summer, he took something out of my life that needed to be taken out of my life. He did that by himself. I didn't have to do anything about it. He decided it for me. And so, yeah, that's the same thing. And it's very sobering to know that he is truly in control, even when it doesn't seem like it. He's got the upper hand, and he will make the last decision. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. I really love that one. For the company of the godless is barren. The fire consumes the tents of bribery. Job 15:34. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Proverbs 13:20. And those all relates to the bioweapon. Hopefully this clears everything up, and I hope you guys like this presentation. Sorry it wasn't sparkingly wonderful. It was just very like solemn and whatnot, but like I intend to do more videos that are happy. It's good to do due diligence, and it's just like, okay, we've done our due diligence, you know, we've gotten a little bit of a draft planned out. Let's see what we can go into depth with next. Let's see where we can go. Let's build upon this. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you, and hopefully everyone's taking care. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I think I'm gonna go do another one of these. I just have to figure out which one I'm doing. So talk to you guys later. Bye. I forgot to say, I also got these 2 flashlights. I might return one of them. One is like slightly bigger than the other one. This one is 330 lumens bright, 426 foot range. It's dust resistant and stormproof. Important to have in your bug out bag, stormproof especially. And this one is an inspection beam, alkaline dual power, 2 AA batteries, AAA batteries included, sorry, 11-hour max run time, 21 meter range, dust resistant, stormproof. Now this is just good. I got one for me and one for a family member, or 2, because, you know, 1 is none and 2 is 1. So to have, you know, to have 2, imagine having 2 in your bug out bag. I know they're a little bit heavy, but not heavy like the other ones that I saw. And it's really good to have something small and mighty, because you know, to have it in your tool belt or your bag, you could just whip it out, you know, if you need to have light, or, you know, I don't have a flashlight. I realized that we don't have a working flashlight in this house, so having these 2 is really good to start, but I really want to get the one that Canadian Prepper says to have, as well as candles and things like that, because we're gonna need it in this time. What if batteries run out? Well, at least there's still fire. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. There's this other tool that Canadian Prepper has. I'll put it down there, and I want to get it so badly, and it's like this torch thing that you can start a fire with. You can scare bears off with it. Like, there's all these different things it can do. and it would just be so awesome. I was gonna say it's gonna be so awkward. It'll be so awesome to try it and just see like how it works out. I was also looking at Little Red Heidi hood, and sadly I don't like I don't like her energy. Like, she seems kind of, no offense to her, but she seems a little bit like threatening or something. Like, I just don't feel like happy watching her videos. It doesn't make me like joyful, but she's so pretty, and her like tools that she has, like, and the way she like made that pineapple rice was so inspiring. But the way that she like comments back to people and the way that her energy gives off, I don't feel like I could be my true soul essence in front of her if we were friends, kind of thing. So like I don't like to like watch that as much, but I like her stuff and I want to like go out into the woods and try doing that too. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. Bye.